Guys, oh my god, she kissed me! I've waited 4 years for this shit, and you best believe it's worth it. Hi guys, I'm Scarlett, and I've been in love with my best friend for 4 consecutive years, and this girl has taken me to heaven, hell, and everything in between. This all dates back to the chambers of hell, aka middle school. I met the most bodacious, pulchritudinous human being I've ever met in my entire life. I was only 10, but 10-year-old me knew what's up. I would always just admire her from afar, but one day before I knew it, on the grounds of the recess playground, we became best friends. Fast forward 4. Turning 5 years, our innocent childhood friendship turned into messy homoerotic dare. I say this word. Okay, I'm going to say it. Situationship. Hey! I absolutely hate that word with every fiber of my being, and never would have I imagined that I, Scarlett, would ever be tangled into the mess of one, but after months and making these videos and reading/responding to DMs, I think that is the best way to describe it. You see my best friend, who for the sake of this video we will call Frediella, and I have been in a friendship where the lines between platonic and romantic have been heavily blurred. I mean, let's just say this would not be the first time she has kissed me. And fun fact, getting into a position where you don't know where you stand in the life of the one person you've ever been in love with is the most excruciating experience to ever dare to enter into existence. But from my experience, the highs outweigh the lows, and over the course of these couple of months, I have realized that I would rather be in her life with the chance of never knowing what I am to her than have her gone for good. However, these past few weeks have been different, and nothing like I've ever seen before. Recently, she had been latching onto me like never before with the full bundle of good morning texts, asking me about my day, sending me random pieces of media that she said reminded her of me, and inviting me over to her house every single fucking weekend. We would cuddle, read romance webtoons, talk about everything imaginable, and it was absolutely amazing. We deadass went through a period of nothing but sunshine and rainbows, and it felt so mutual. We felt unimaginably close. I was convulsing out of pure happiness. Then it happened. We had a long weekend, so we scheduled for a sleepover, and one thing about me and Frediella's sleepovers is that something always fucking happens between us, no matter how distant we were before that night. The sleepover before this one, she kissed me so many fucking times that included on the lips, neck, hand, cheek, and literally every kissable part of my body, and she told me she didn't know if we were closer to friends or lovers, and was starting to realize that our connection was starting to have aspects that significantly drew the line of platonic, but didn't care as long as our connection stayed the same. And I was like, no fucking shit. Things were starting to look more romantic. And from that moment on, I deadass thought we were going to be locked down, but no, we never talked about that moment again. But I still regularly thought about it, and I know she did too. Fast forwarding to our last sleepover, I had already been building up the courage to ask her what we were and mentally preparing myself for an open conversation on whether we were friends or lovers. The sleepover was super fun and high energy at first, but as it got closer to night and things started to slow down, that's when I built up the courage to talk to her. I started by asking if I could ask her a personal question, and she said of course and that I could ask her anything, to which I replied, "Do you ever feel like there is something more between us?" My heart dropped to my ass immediately after I said that, but it was too late to take anything back, so I just started explaining more in depth on how I feel. I started by explaining how some specific actions that she does have me second guessing if things were ever truly 100% platonic between us, and started calling her out on specific actions, such as the kissing, the cuddling, the dare I say, inappropriate touching, and re-emphasizing how none of these things were recent at all. I genuinely felt like I was talking for 5 minutes, but the second I let all of those feelings out, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders, but it still left me feeling so unbelievably nervous. The second I stopped talking, there was a pause, but not one I would say was necessarily awkward. I noticed she was red. I was red too. She started uncontrollably smiling and laughing, which made me smile and laugh too. I've never felt a more positive complex of emotions in that moment than I did in my entire life. She tackled me onto the bed and got on top of me and just hugged me and kept uncontrollably laughing, to which I did the same. Before I knew it, we were just in bed rolling over each other and laughing. Until this moment, I am still confused on what the fuck type of response that was, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. After a good 6 to 7 minutes, we were out of breath, gasping for air and still smiling. Then she turned over and asked me,
"Do you want to finish watching Yellow Jackets?"
Which is the show we had been watching together, and being a little caught off guard by the question given the circumstances, I said yes. And so we did that. We cuddled and watched the next episode. We were on, and before we knew it was fully dark out and everyone in the house was asleep except us, as invested as I am in the hit television series Yellow Jackets. It was hard to pay attention to the show because all I was thinking in my mind was what the ever-living fuck just happened. I prepared myself for a million different responses, but that certainly wasn't one of them. We held each other in our arms for the entirety of the episode, which is an hour. Mind you, and after the episode ended, she turned off her laptop and held onto me tighter and placing her face directly digging into my tits. But I didn't mind. Then she lifted up her face, looked at me, and started laughing again, and so did I. In being so dead honest, the entire night just felt like a fever dream, and I am still confused by went on. Then she stopped laughing and loosened herself, her eyes facing above us towards the top bunk, and oh my god, she looked so gorgeous. Guys, words cannot explain her beauty. She is literally the definition of pulchritudinous. We both spaced out for a second, and then, with one hand, she grabbed my face and kissed me on the lips, and I was so beyond caught off guard. The kiss lasted for what I'd say 15 seconds, and then she broke it apart and started popcorn kissing me on the neck, to which I just held on to her. Then she stopped once she got to my chest, and just laid there, and I did too. If I'm being honest, I don't remember much what happened for the rest of the night. I just remember we woke up in an odd position on top of each other. Then once we woke up, we started talking about the most random shit ever. We started talking about the creation of socks for some odd reason, and then after we got ready, we went to go hit the gym in her building. When she was younger, she used to do competitive martial arts or some shit, so she was trying to teach me how to box, and it was so much fun, but not a single word was said about last night. And now it's been a few days since the sleepover, and things have been feeling weird between us, but I can't place my finger on it. I just still feel like my question was never answered, and I feel more confused than I did before I talked to her. However, speaking from experience, I can't let this be another moment that we just pretend never happened and never bring up again. I'm going to wait and see how our connection evolves over the next few days, and if things are still weird, I'm going to go talk to her. If you watched till this point, I appreciate you so much, and please drop advice in the comments or my DMs. Scarlett out it.